Now, in a first-of-its-kind initiative, the Eastern Cape has announced the declaration of 8 game reserves, totaling over 62,000 hectares as part of a massive contribution to the protected area estate of the province to protect biodiversity. It's a process that has taken close to 2 years to consolidate between private landowners and government structures. This is the biggest protected area to be declared. We now cross to our reporter, Busisiwe Jemsana. Good morning, Busisiwe. Tell us more about this initiative.
A very good morning, Tabile. Well, it's an initiative that these private landowners and the government are excited to embark on. It basically means that these landowners, private landowners, have forged this partnership with the government. The government will be coming to the fore to make sure that they preserve the land that is their wildlife. They make sure that it is protected for future generations. Those wildlife animals, the grass that is there is also protected for future generations, as it is seen as one of the aspects that can turn the economy of the province around. But hey, Tabile, who am I in the list of elephants, lions, biodiversity, ecosystems? Let me bring in my guest, who is the CEO of the Eastern Cape Parks and Tourism Agency, to get into detail as to what this really means. Mr. Vuyani, thank you so much for joining us. But first, let's get the big elephant out of the room. Some yesterday, when you had the gala dinner, were saying these private landowners who own these game reserves have been owning their land for years, and that this might be linked to the talks about land distribution without compensation. In your talks with them, do you get a sense that there is fear that they might lose their land, hence they have forged this partnership with the government?
Thank you very much. I think the first thing that we need to put into context is that the initiative, the Biodiversity Stewardship Program, is an initiative of the National Department of Environmental Affairs. So provincial conservation agencies like the SABC are mandated through that process to voluntarily engage landowners. The intention of really engaging landowners is to secure natural ecosystems. And the realization is that the natural ecosystems, they run beyond the boundaries of what is protected and declared as nature reserves. So 80% of the natural ecosystems that you want protected are in the hands of private and communities. So the intention really is to protect that. I think that's the essence of it. And it's important that the ecosystems, they provide crucial ecological services that without the protection you will not be able to. So outside any other doubt or fears about current land reform programs, in the gist of it is the protection of the natural ecosystems. And we know for a fact that 80% of the land we need for such protection is in private hands. So this initiative really is about voluntarily engaging them, encouraging them, and making them feel part of the solution. Because in the past, any time when you talk about protection of the land, it has been a government authority responsibility. But this provides a fresher perspective where landowners on their own engage government with an intention of having their land protected. But underpinning that is the sustainable utilization of the land process under them.
And you're saying it's not only about private landowners, even communities can come up and say to you, we want this land to be protected.
Yeah, communities are allowed to do that. I mean, if one gives a context, 2 years back, one of the communities in a land that has been restituted in Kambat, closer to a reserve that we manage, they donated back 3,500 hectares for conservation purposes. So this is community-owned land, owned by people that have their land restituted to them. So it's not limited to private land individuals, but it's an initiative that is broader than that.
Lastly, how do you plan on working with these private land owners? I can imagine that there's going to be a lot of change that will have to be enforced so that this partnership is a success.
I think we have thrown the gauntlet to them last night to say there's a change of how things should be done. One of the things that, for example, the intention is the protection of the natural ecosystems, and that means in the manner in which they do things, there have to be changes. For example, if one of the issues that you want to deal with is about water scarcity, It means that in the land that they have, where there's alien species, which is plants that are there, that are absorbing and utilizing a lot of water, those plants must go. So this is an initiative. It details a lot of things that they need to do differently so that they are able to give a meaningful participation in the relationship. But also, it provides an opportunity in the context of the Eastern Cape. If you talk the 62,000 hectares that have been now declared through this process, the land parcels that are under now protection are providing a very unique ecotourism setup for the province. The jewels of your 5-star facilities are within this complex that is being protected. So not only are we are we going to be exploiting relationship around the biodiversity aspect of things, but it provides an opportunity around leveraging tourism. Within this particular group, a lot of resources are spent by the private individuals in marketing their own product offerings. So we see this as an opportunity to leverage marketing resources so that we are able to profile and promote the province from a tourism perspective.
CEO, thank you so much for your time. That was the CEO of the Eastern Cape Parks and Tourism Agency, Mr. Vuyani Daimani, telling us that they are taking advantage of this opportunity in making sure that they market the province out there. The MEC for Finance was also here last night saying that as the government, they have not been funding enough or unleashing enough resources to the tourism sector, and it is time to do so and make sure that they take advantage of that, create jobs through tourism, as the Eastern Cape has got a very rich history that can attract tourists to come and plow to the province. Well, Tabile, today we are awaiting private game reserves and landowners who own game reserves to come to an auction that is organized by the province, the government, where wildlife animals will be auctioned here today. The money will go to various sectors, bursaries. It will also go towards investing back to the wildlife, to the game reserves, to make sure that they meet the standards that are expected of the game reserves that they are. We will be covering that and keeping you up to date with the developments and how the auction goes and how they plan on working together and acquiring more land from other private landowners and other communities so as to protect the natural resources that they need to protect. Right now, it is back to you in studio, Tabile.